Greetings, family. Peace, love, and positive thinking. This is Guru, and thanks for joining my channel. I really appreciate your time. This vlog is about a short animated film that's being narrated by Jay-Z, who says the war on drugs is an epic fail. Let's watch this video together.
In 1986, when I was coming of age, Ronald Reagan doubled down on the war on drugs that had been started by Richard Nixon in 1971. Drugs were bad, fried your brain, and drug dealers were monsters. The sole reason neighborhoods and major cities were failing. No one wanted to talk about Reaganomics and the ending of social safety nets, the defunding of schools and the loss of jobs in cities across America. Young men like me who hustled became the sole villain, and drug addicts lacked moral fortitude. In the 1990s, incarceration rates in the U.S. blew up. Today we imprison more people than any other country in the world. China, Russia, Iran, Cuba. All countries we consider autocratic and repressive. Yeah, more than them. Judges' hands were tied by tough on crime laws, and they were forced to hand out mandatory life sentences for simple possession and low-level drug sales. My home state of New York started this with Rockefeller laws. Then the feds made distinctions between people who sold powder cocaine and crack cocaine, even though they were the same drug. Only difference is how you take it.
White people use powder drugs?
Used and sold crack more than black people. Somehow it was black people who went to prison.
All the time.
Actual data to this day. Crack is still talked about as a black problem. The NYPD raided our Brooklyn neighborhoods while Manhattan bankers openly used coke with impunity. The war on drugs exploded the U.S. prison population disproportionately, locking away black and Latinos. Our prison population grew more than 900%. When the war on drugs began in 1971, our prison population was 200,000. Today it is over 2 million. Long after the crack era ended, we continued our war on drugs. There were more than 1.5 million drug arrests in 2014. More than 80% were for possession only. Almost half were for marijuana. People are finally talking about treating addiction to harder drugs as a health crisis. But there's no compassionate language about drug dealers. Unless, of course, we're talking about places like Colorado, whose state economy got a huge boost by the above-ground marijuana industry. A few states south in Louisiana is still handing out mandatory sentences for people who sell weed. Despite a booming and celebrated $50 billion legal marijuana industry, most states still disproportionately hand out mandatory sentences to black and Latinos with drug cases. If you're entrepreneurial and live in one of the many states that are passing legalized laws, you may still face barriers participating in the above-ground economy. Venture capitalists migrate to these states to open multi-billion-dollar operations, but former felons can't open a dispensary. Lots of times those felonies were drug charges, caught by poor people who sold drugs for a living, but are now prohibited from participating in one of the fastest growing economies. Got it? In states like New York, where holding marijuana is no longer grounds for arrest, police issue possession citations in black and Latino neighborhoods at a far higher rate than other neighborhoods. Kids in Crown Heights are constantly stopped and ticketed for trees. Kids at dorms in Columbia, where rates of marijuana use are equal to or worse than those in the hood, are never targeted or ticketed.
Not at all.
Rates of drug use are as high as they were when Nixon declared the so-called war in 1971. 45 years later, it's time to rethink our policies and laws.
It's been a war on black people. So family, we've always known that the war on drugs was actually a war on black people. European Americans always try to fool, especially people of color. So family, I just wanted to share this with you so you could see what I saw. The epic war on drugs was an epic fail, and yes, there's still an issue, a problem with drugs. Black folks, just don't be fooled by any of these new drugs that are coming on the market. White folks are trying to get rid of us. If you don't understand that by now, by keep putting these different chemicals in your body that they tell you to, or that they show you, or that they seem to like to highlight and glamorize, you're being just as stupid as they are. So black folks, I hope we don't fall for the whole crack thing again. We fell for crack this last time. You remember on 60 Minutes and on 2020 how they showed us years ago how to cook up crack cocaine. They showed it to us on those shows. They were so-called being responsible journalists, and they showed us how to cook it up in our own homes to where we destroyed our own families, our own structural stabilities, and everything. They actually lent a hand in our destruction, and we were stupid and gullible enough to go with it. I think this animated film by Jay-Z, I think is so awesome. Anyways, you tell me what you think, family. Leave your comments in the comment section. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. I really appreciate your time. Thanks for watching. This is Guru. Peace, love, and positive thinking always. Peace out.